We are live. How's it going, buddies? Welcome back to our bi-weekly podcast slash live stream slash all kinds of hootenanny. This is Surface Noise, Concert Buddy here. Kind of a different presentation than our normal run of show. We're actually going to listen to the new album from Nick Perri and the Underground Thieves, TERRA FIRMA. Kind of listen to a track, get some feedback, all that stuff, and then we'll get into our freestyling. So before we get into all that, let's go ahead and go around the dais. We are joined by the usual cast of characters. We'll start from New York City-ish. Arnaldo at Fidelios _frequency. How you doing, Arnaldo?
I'm good. Thanks, Chance. How are you?
Loving life loving. And then from the heart-ish of Texas is David Bianco. Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion. David, what's going on?
Doing great. How about it, you all? Or y'all.
Y'all. Yeah, there you go. Set you up. And then currently in the Great White North of Minnesota, but not for long, Jason Rojas. What's going on, pal?
I'm just moving and packing. You know, my life is just as boring as Rachel Ghost's show lately.
So anyway, so I got kind of kicked off in the open. Let me get the comments going. See who's joining us. But I've been close to a project that been real excited about, and that is, like I said in the open, a musician I've been following for almost 20 years. This guy named Nick Perri, who has had a really interesting career in the industry. I mean, he was practically a tyke. 19 kind of when his first band Silvertide broke on the scene in about early 2000s. I think 2004 was their first like national tour. So I've been kind of following him and the other guys in the band ever since. And when this album I saw on social media was kind of coming out, I reached out to him and asked him, through his management, hey, would you like to talk about the new album? And he was gracious enough to engage, sent me a copy of the album digitally to kind of get a taste of it. I really enjoyed it, but I also wanted some unbiased feedback. So I solicited the gentleman on the dais and a couple other people in the VC. Norman Mazoff was one of them. Louis Golden's another. Jason, Canada Jason, I think he's on it. Arsenal was another one. So just wanted to hear different points. And that's kind of where the idea of this listening party per se kind of came from. So before we're going to play a couple tracks from the album. So people watching at home, streaming this later, if you're not familiar with the album, it'll be a little taste. I'd highly encourage anyone before they buy any kind of physical media, stream it first. It is available on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, Bandcamp, I think SoundCloud, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, so let's just go quick around the horn. Initial impressions from this album, Terra Firma, from Nick Perri and the Underground Thieves. We'll start with Jason. We'll go counterclockwise.
Okay, they were like, you can hear me, right?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, there were like a lot of different styles with this. I was a bit confused about it because there's 14 tracks and they kind of vary in a way. So my question was, who is the real Nick Perri? That's what I couldn't understand. Like, because the music switched on a bit different, I know that there's some sort of thematic, what do you call it, like theme with this record because of the voiceovers and the samples and whatnot, Yeah. But I was more into the music and just seeing if I liked it or, And so far it's okay, but I think all the styles that kind of go different and haphazardly for me, like that kind of weakens the record, like the cohesiveness of it.
Okay. David Bianco.
Well,
opening impressions.
Yeah. Well, I looked at it from two perspectives. One, when I was in radio, one of the things I did was sample new albums coming out for what the strong songs were and the weak songs. And so I kind of took that perspective. And there's there's a few on here that could easily be, standalone singles kind of music. But I also listened to it a lot on headphones, listening to the engineering and the mixing and that aspect. And if and I like to pay attention to that, not just listen to it on speakers. So I've got some comments that I'm going to have regarding that aspect of it as well. But
Okay.
overall, I'm playing it a lot. So I guess that's the answer. I really like it a lot.
Awesome. Good to hear. Arnaldo, initial impressions of Terra Firma.
Well, I mean, I listened to it 3 times. I like to give an album at least 3 listens before I can, pronounce any kind of opinion, have an opinion.
Yeah.
And I have to say that I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to it. Are we at the comparison and favorite tracks moment, or
Almost.
what's that?
Almost.
Okay. Well, my general impression is that I don't know the involvement of Nick and how long they've been playing together with his band of musicians, but I got the impression from the feel of the record that they sound like a band, not like a lead solo guy with a band that was put together to support a solo artist. So for me, it sounded like a band. It sounded like I did feel and sense the chemistry among the band members, even though it is like a studio record. I noticed that they play well together.
So it's interesting you say that, because there is some cohesion, because before this album, Nick and Underground Thieves released Sun Via, which, so for the people who are watching early, you're getting a head start, because at the end of the presentation, I'm going to give somebody one of each of these records for participating. So I'm going to be saying some nuggets of information, and then at the end, I'll ask questions, 2 questions. And if you can give me the answers, then we'll work out, and I will send these to you gratis, free of charge. Continental US, please. Or if in Canada we can negotiate. We can
Come on, Harry.
Trade. Yeah. Yeah. I don't have international shipping incident over this. So.
You're not going to do international shipping?
Well, I mean, I could. We can talk about it. I said my aim would be predominantly continental U.S., but Canada's not off the table. But we'll talk. It depends who wins, right? But anyway, so back to So this first album, Sun Via, was the first album that Nick had put together with this collective. Most of the collective, I think, a couple guys or a couple musicians fell off for the Terra Firma, but to that point, Arnaldo, a lot of them came back for this project, and one guy is Brian Weaver, who he's collaborated a couple times with Silvertide, that band from the early 2000s. I was talking to him. Actually, on this album, he collaborated. The 5th track, I believe, is "Everybody Wants Some," and it was co-written by his former lead singer in Silvertide, Walt Laffey, who is really great, very similar to, think about like Chris and like the Robinson Brothers, I guess, of the Black Crowes. That band kind of had like a Black Crowes kind of vibe. Dirty Honey is another kind of contemporary band in that kind of style. But so he's collaborated with people from his past and his present, so it's kind of fun like that. But well, let's go ahead and kind of kick it off with, we'll play a track. David, we'll kick it off with you. What was the track that really has sunken its teeth into you?
I think the lead track, "Waiting for You." I just really think, beyond when it gets into the music, of course, but it just, for me, the first track of an album is a very important track.
Sure.
It makes it or breaks it a lot of times, and if you lead in bad, it makes it tough. And this one is easy top 40 territory kind of song to me, and it's just a nice, fun song.
Perfect. All right, so we'll play the song. I've already worked it out, Nick. When I pitched this concept, when I talked to him originally, I've already done a little pre-screening to make sure YouTube should not shut us down. If they do, we'll just pop right back. So I think I've jumped through all the hoops, but we'll go ahead and play this track for the folks who haven't heard it, and then we'll come back and maybe talk about it afterwards. So,
an arrow shot from beginningless time, and the arrow is just now touching the target if you're thinking about and contemplating these deeper concepts, about reality and how reality exists and how the me exists within that reality and how that's tied all together.
Was he talking about the VC?
Everything
something to see. To see everything I want's gotta be real. Open my hands when there's something to feel. To feel. I'm just waiting for a little something more. I get lost inside from time to time. I'm just waiting for a little something more. I'm just waiting for you. Take what you want. Take what you want. I've got nothing to lose. How many times can I let it slip through? Slip through. I'm just waiting for a little something more. I get lost inside from time to time. I'm just waiting for a little something more. I'm just waiting for you. Pause. All right. Now let's come back to this. Let's hide this guy. So stop screen.
There you go.
All right. So as an opening track, what did you guys think? David kind of hit it on. It's a very interesting way. Malay even said in the comments, kind of sounds like The Cure. I hadn't really thought of that till she had said that, but I can kind of feel some of that. Arnaldo, as an opening track, how did you enjoy that one? Or did you enjoy it? I don't want to put words in it.
You're on mute.
I know. I just realized it. Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt any other.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I'll probably do that too. Good idea
for the listening. That's actually I was saying that the first song is probably the catchiest one, the more immediate one, and I found myself humming that today actually. just in a moment that I was doing something else. I caught myself humming it. So definitely one of my favorite tracks of the album too.
And Jason, what'd you think of that one?
No, I didn't like it. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
Devil's advocate here. Wasn't
Or
for me, that song. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually
Poppy?
like the next song. Yeah,
Okay, good.
it's too poppy for me. I actually like the next song. I thought the next song should have been the one.
Well, it's
The
interesting you
opener.
said that, because even when I was first trading emails with Nick, that I Won't Change, which is the second song, and maybe we'll play that one a little bit.
Yeah.
That was the first one I actually repeated like instantly, right? Because when the first time I heard it, I was like,
Yes.
really digging it. So yeah, and I told him that I was like, I already 2 songs in, and I've already repeated the second song. So for me, I felt it got it off to a good start.
I can tell you, I don't know on YouTube, but on StreamYard, it's like in mono, and you lose a lot of the effect of that song because of
Interesting.
that. To me,
I wonder if it's because
Yes.
I was playing it and I had my mic. So when I mute it, tell me if it sounds differently when
Okay.
we play the next one.
I'll let you
Because
know.
that could be it. Arnaldo's probably got right in terms of muting it and stuff. So,
Yeah.
so Arnaldo, what would you, outside of Waiting for You, the one you had nominated, but another track that you that stuck out to you for whatever reason?
I really liked Modern Man as well. The one Jason mentioned, I Won't Change. And
Okay.
then, well, these are my standout tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I say those are my standout tracks.
Okay. Well, how about we play I Won't Change, since that one is
Sure.
kind of topic du jour. Let's play that one. Go. Present. Come back. Beep bop boop bop. Share. Go ahead and mute everybody.
I won't change. You know I won't. If it's in my heart, it's in my bones. I won't leave until I'm through. It's not up to me. It's not up to you. I don't want to worry anymore. I don't want to worry anymore. I want to find the answer. I want to be set free. I found the golden horizon. I found the king I see. So I look to tomorrow, but it's so hard to see. I know something better is waiting for me. I won't change. You know I won't. If it's in my heart, it's in my bones. found no dignity. Travel to tomorrow. It's so hard to see. I know something better is waiting for me.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, Chance. You're on mute.
Chance, can you say that again?
Bad host. No, so Malaya's got a comment. She said, just sounds like 80s new wave with some yacht rock synthesizer sound mixed into it. Well, if that's the case, I was down because I like it. If so, first of all, full disclosure, yacht rock, I love yacht rock. And in fact, one of my favorite albums in the last couple of years was that John Mayer Sob Rock because of kind of the throwback kind of vibes. So, see, it even got a thumbs up from Jason. So, digging it. All right, Jason. You are next on the turnstile. What you kind of already hit on the opening. How did you feel about obviously the size of the album? I mean, it's very ambitious, 14 tracks.
It's too long.
Okay.
14 tracks ain't my style. Man,
okay.
Can you imagine putting this on vinyl? It's probably like you'd have to compress, right? 7 per side, maybe.
That's tough. But so it's interesting. Like, and that's kind of what's very ambitious about this project. And this double LP by design. See, I'm gonna look. What a shill I am. I'm even showing the product, right? But and I didn't know this honestly until I listened to it a couple times, and I would literally the morning or the day of I was going to talk to Nick, I went on a run, and it kind of hit me that the 7th song, the title track, Terra Firma, was kind of a hinge point. At least that was my impression, right? And when I got talking to Nick, I mean, it was pretty spot on because that's why there's two albums. Really, is the first one, the first disc was supposed to represent death after life, and then after that hinge point of Terra Firma, then the back half of the album was like life after death, right? Mm-hmm. And so I could kind of tell, and I didn't know that going into it. It was really interesting because then after we talked, I kind of went back and looked at some old posts about the album that maybe I missed or I didn't study about the artwork in particular. And that's why there's like the two sides of the tree, because Terra Firma, I think in Italian means like of the earth, right? So interesting idea, sense that for an independent artist to self-finance, self-write, self-promote, distribute, all that stuff, a double LP really kind of intrigued me. And obviously bias coming into the project, I'll own that part of it. But I would think it's, from the outside looking, it seems very ambitious because not only do you have to pay for all this, you have to write all this. And obviously we all know about all the pressing issues going on. But I will say for my talk with Nick, I mean, he wanted to do everything like top. And so that costs more, right? Put it to tape, taking it to Sterling Sound and having Steve Fallone master it. Steve Fallone, Grammy award-winning mastering engineer. I think he got the Grammy for the Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga album. So Guy knows what he's doing, and that I'm sure it wasn't cheap getting him to master it, right? So I think from that perspective, I have a lot of appreciation for what Nick went through to get this through. But in terms of, all right, it's too long. Well, I want to put words in your mouth, Jason. It's a little longer than probably you felt it should be. Did you catch any of that kind of attic? Like you said earlier, I think probably off camera, we're talking that there was a theme there, but did you pick up on that theme that I just shared, or was it not as clear on your first couple of listens or whatnot?
That was not clear. I'm glad you said something about it.
Does it make sense now that I've kind of like revealed it, or?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. What track stood out to you, and what was the one that we should play on behalf of your session here? What track was, or was there a couple tracks that you really thought stood out above the rest?
Are you asking me or the other guys?
No, Jason. No, you, Jason. You're in the hot seat, Jason. You're in the hot seat.
Oh, okay, fine. I mean, we played my favorite track, "I Won't Change," which is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I like number 4, which is called "The Pines," because of this great jammy country rock intro. It was very good.
There's a
Do
video
you want
on
me
that
to
one.
keep going or just name a few?
Yeah, keep going, and then you just tell me which one we should play.
I like track number 6, "Kiss the World," because it was a very grand sort of like ELO like esque epic song.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I would like you to play "Morning Light," which is track number 8, because it had all these
Excellent.
catchy effects in a cool chorus. I like that song.
Yeah, I do
Perfect.
too.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites too, and that was the one, to be honest with you, that I felt something shifted after you get past Terra Firma at 7. I felt like, and I didn't want to jump to conclusions because like Morning Light, New Awakening, Phoenix Rising, I wanted to stick away from like those kind of obvious kind of rebirth mechanisms. But when I kind of asked Nick about it, he's like, no, that's exactly why that track is right there. So let's go ahead and play that one. Boop, 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 boop. Share screen. Oh, look at the lyrics even. That's not it.
I'm gonna give you till the morning light. Pull back the curtain and let's see inside. It's time I carry on my own way. Never mind them. Never mind them. I've never cared so much for what people say. Needless torture, I can feel the sting. Years of abuse, I haven't learned a thing. Somebody got up and turned off the lights. Never mind them, never mind them. I'm only waiting for the sun to rise again. I'm only waiting for the sun to rise. I'm just waiting on the sun to rise.
All right. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite tracks for sure. I really enjoyed that. Now that I've kind of pulled the cloak back on what the artist impression was of the theme, does that make sense from the way the songs are laid in the front? Because I know Mazzy, when we were talking about it, he said he didn't pick up on that right away, and he kind of called me out on having like a little artist bias. But like I said, I didn't catch it until maybe fifth or sixth listen, and then it just like caught to me.
I kind of picked up on it musically after Terra Firma. It was a different. I noticed something was different.
Something
Change.
shifted.
I wasn't paying attention to the lyrical content from throughout the album. So at least musically, I kind of picked up on it.
David,
Yeah,
how about you?
Well, the first thing that struck me, it was 14 tracks. And I said, wait a second. Most bands do 10 tracks, and I know he's an independent, but I just wondered about why right out of the box. And so I kind of was trying to figure out if there was some thematic. And then, like you said, I think musically it started to shift.
Yes.
But I didn't really pick up on where the bookends were on it until after probably the third listen. It wasn't really clear to me at first. But I started to see some distinctions between what the messages were on the front half of the album versus the second half of the album.
Remind me, David. I know you ordered the vinyl, but you haven't got it yet, right?
It should be here tomorrow, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, same here. Nice. So I will say, I guess it's my turn around the horn. My favorite track, and tell me what you guys saw this one, was the 12th track, that's Space Between. Vanished. There he is. Was the 12th track, Space Between.
Uh-huh.
And I liked it for a couple of reasons. I like some of the riffs. Actually, I like a lot of the riffs. I like kind of the change of tone with the kind of the scat kind of lyric delivery, which I thought was, again, a lot different than some of the other kind of deliveries and singing on the album. And I also liked some of the like kind of real world connotations, because I think if I picked up a couple things from that song was, talking about like giving us the space to disagree was one thing that really stuck with me, because obviously we live in a time where we're very tribal, and we tend to not hear the other side of certain kind of conversations or topics or whatnot. And so I thought, to me, it was clever how he kind of wove that in there, and also talked about like we're a society conditioned on convenience and not used to having patience. Jason, you always talk about having patience when it comes to collecting records, and I think that's especially in our hobby and collecting, that can be kind of a lost art. But as a whole, I think patience is a skill that's on the decline for a lot of reasons. Not to get philosophical.
The vocal got a little bit kind of in your face, I think, there too.
Sure.
It seemed like he was really pointing a finger with the vocal style, which I thought was a shift.
Well, it got my attention, right? Like it got my, because I'm gonna be honest, like a lot of the things I listen for on a new listen, even if it's an artist I've been following or I've been into before, previous albums or whatnot, is I like to listen to like where they take it musically, but also like, I mean, I'm from the country. Give me some good riffs. Give me some just stuff that makes me want to like get into it, right? Like in a lot of different ways. And
it was kind of almost like, I don't want to call it rap, but kind of like the way rap is, where they're starting to really push a message.
Sure.
Really have that kind of feel to it without being rap.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so let's go ahead and play that one, and then we'll see where we go from there. All right, let me go. Show. Present. Do it.
We don't understand reality, and the way that we perceive the world around us is completely cloaked in ignorance and misunderstanding.
So you're just venting, respecting not ending, but neither is truth. I'm relentlessly bending, not selling but sending. A message is pending, offending so many, depending. Plenty of everything. Can you pass the TV? Synthetic endorphins, emotions, and your whole life is corporate like the you live in. You've chosen your prison, not a pot to piss in. Your pants are missing, are you listening? No more genetically modified Homo sapiens. All I'm asking is for a little space between. All I want is for a little room to agree. Faithless and faceless, like ads on Craigslist. College grads living in basements. References leaders that will not lead us, just to lead us. I don't care who pays as long as you get your package for free in 2 days. I guess the rainforest can go to hell. All I'm asking is for a little space between. All I want is for a little room to Programmed by pixels, distracted by whistles. The big machine devours the invisible, frequently vibrating, amplifying, and fading, blind to the hating that's waiting around every corner. All I'm asking is for a little space between. All I want is for a little room to
All right. So that was my favorite track. That was Space Between. So a couple questions, and then we'll kind of see where we are for time. If you played it all the way through, did you catch the surprise on the 14th track? Just curious.
There was a surprise, like a post ending.
Yeah, so there's like a well, if people are I would highly encourage people to listen to that 14th song. There's something like play it all the way through. Don't stop when the music stops. I'll say that.
No, there's like a conversation going on that loops on to the beginning of the album.
There is, but there's also, maybe I need to listen to it again, because in the version I listened to, there was like I'm just going to say it, a hidden track. There was a hidden track in there that was just a nice little kind of like easy way to like leave the album to me. So a couple questions come to mind. We'll kind of go around the dais. So you've heard the album. Jason, did you listen to it more than once?
Oh, did I listen to it more than once?
Yeah.
Probably twice, actually.
Twice. Okay. Just curious. Okay. So question I have for you guys is, would you buy this if it was easily available on vinyl?
Because I like you, Chance. Sure, I would give it a chance and buy it on vinyl.
And David, obviously, we already know your answer. I let the cat out of the bag on that one.
Yeah, I've already ordered 2 signed copies, so yes.
Nice.
So, but I will say, I think you're talking about where it fades out at the end and then it starts up again at 14. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Where the car, it sounds like a car almost leaving or something, and then
a little bit, and then there's a little
okay.
track it in. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I got to say real quick is, because I was listening to that last track you played off of what I have, the copy through SoundCloud in stereo, and you lose so much of the impact of that song.
Interesting.
By not hearing it.
You
Yeah, because the drums are just going back and forth. He's doing this back and forth, and it's just it kind of is timed with what he's saying. So I'm just saying, listen to it in a streaming format in stereo. You'll enjoy it a ton more, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely something I definitely want in my collection.
And Arnaldo, is this something that you've heard it a couple times now? Do you think you'd pick it up?
Yeah, like I said, I listened to it 3 times and I found myself humming 1 or 2 of the songs. So it's definitely something that I enjoy and probably definitely will pick up.
Nice.
So I just wanted to add a few things. Like some people were mentioning various influences. The first thing that came to mind to me is more like Southern rock.
Sure.
But not the traditional 70s Southern rock, more like the later Southern rock. We're talking about like Kings of Leon, My Morning Jacket, and I don't know if you know this band, and this is the one that I noticed most of the similarities to, even in terms of vocally. The singer and the band, Moon Taxi. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Moon
I've heard the name. I don't know if I'm familiar with
So the sound reminds me a lot of Moon Taxi, especially also his voice. But overall, the feel that I get is mostly that Southern kind of alternative rock, Kings of Leon, My Morning Jacket a bit. That's the vibe that I get. And I did pick up on that. I didn't want to say it before people jumped on me. That second, that I think was the second song we were listening to with the solo, it reminded me of David Gilmour too. And also, I forgot which song it is. There's one where there is an amazing, maybe it is the second, or maybe it's the third one. It's a song that I really like that has like this amazing organ. It's like a Hammond organ on it. Is it
Modern Man?
Modern Man.
Yes, you're right. I'm thinking of the organ now. I'm playing in my mind.
Another one of my favorites. So I wasn't the only one who picked up on the similarities to David Gilmour.
Nice.
And very late Pink Floyd. We're talking Division Bell. What's that other one called? Momentary Lapse of Reason. Back to the later part, like the poppier Pink Floyd.
So, fun fact time. Nick is not the only recorded musician in his family. 2011-12, do you remember there was a song called Jar of Hearts by Christina Perri?
I remember the name, yeah.
So that was like a top 40 song. So just a little fun fact, because we're all about the fun facts on this maiden voyage of a listening party. All right, so next question. David, I'll kick it off with you. If Nick was either opening or doing a solo tour or with the Underground Thieves, would you buy a ticket and go see it?
Yep, absolutely.
Jason?
Yes, I would do it because I like your chance.
Oh man! Wow! He's buttering me up on this one, folks. Jason really When's your birthday? Are you buttering me up for a birthday VCLT situation here? Because I got a couple of these albums, right?
Oh man! Wow.
See you in Austin.
See you in Austin, yes, sir. I'll see you in Austin. Arnaldo, what would you think?
Yeah, I think actually live they probably sound really good.
Yeah.
There are a lot of long songs, like jammy songs. I think
Mhm.
those probably come alive when you hear them live, probably better. I don't know. Have you ever listened to them live?
So I haven't seen this incarnation. They didn't come to St. Louis. They came to Northern Illinois, and I almost went when they were touring on Sun Via, the previous album. But when he was in that first band, I mean, again, almost 20 years ago, Silvertide, I saw him twice. And to me, and this is kind of what put the hooks in me early on with Nick's guitar playing and just that band, was they were opening for Velvet Revolver. Remember those guys, like Supergroup, Scott Weiland and the Guns N' Roses guys. And when you go to a show, sometimes you catch an opener if you've never heard of them, sometimes you don't. And that was one of the like 5 times I just remember implicitly, like, low expectations. I'm just there, and I was blown away, almost to the point where I would have said, like, who that night. It could have been a toss up, and Velvet Revolver was like on fire. Like, they were really, like, Weiland was cleaned up and ready for something to prove, and it was a theater tour. You know what I mean? Like, they were getting their sea legs, and it was of all places they kicked off a theater tour, their first ever tour in St. Louis. It was very interesting. Even Weiland even said, like, you guys better enjoy this because we're hitting stadiums after this. Anyway.
This sounds like a Vinyl Community podcast. plug.
So yeah, I wish I would have. I hope, and I've even kind of like say, hey, Nick, you should come to St. Louis. I know that they opened for like the Nielsen Family Trust because Emma 8 Vinyl Low had seen him, and so when I posted the interview like a week or two ago, she had commented on that. So all right, last question before we kind of wrap this one up. Would you recommend this album to a friend, Arnaldo?
I would recommend it to a friend who would probably be into it.
Okay.
Who I know their musical taste.
And would it be somebody like kind of we've talked on some of the cues, the Pink Floyd kind of vibes, maybe a little Neil Young, some of that Southern rock?
Yeah.
Maybe very targeted listen. Okay. David, what would you say?
Yeah, I already have actually, because I reckon like indie. This is kind of an indie band to me, is the way I categorize them. And I do that a lot with indie bands, to friends and recommend them. Like Mute Math is one of my favorites, and a lot of people don't know who they were. But so when I like a band, I usually, say, hey, and as soon as it became available streaming, I sent some links out. So yeah, absolutely.
Great. And Jason, I know as a favor to me, you would probably recommend it.
Oh yeah,
to friend. But if I wasn't part of the equation, would just come up in conversation.
You wouldn't even ask the question.
No comment. I don't know if I can comment on this.
All right, fair enough. All right, well.
Wow.
Well, let's kind of call it a day on this part of the presentation. We're coming up on at the top of the hour, but
Sure.
First time for this listening party format. I thought something. Let's try something different. And Nick was gracious enough to not only give his blessing to listen to some of the songs, but obviously because of his independent artist status, it helped. Didn't get us shut down on the YouTube, so I thought it was kind of a perfect storm of trying something different on Surface Noise. I would love to hear feedback on what the people who have stuck around and watch us, and I've got to give away these records. So if you've been from the beginning, let's start with the album we're talking about, Terra Firma. So folks watching at home, I gave some nuggets of information. If you can tell me the place that mastering engineer for this album works at, first one in the comments. You guys on the dais help me monitor this. First one on the dais, I will send this record to you gratis. That means free. And Novice Nick is right. We need some likes on this video because this is new uncharted territory. So
Jason Arsenal.
All right, Jason Arsenal.
Oh, I got to look at the. All right, perfect. Look at all right, Jason. I know you're in Canada. We'll work this out how I get this to you. Yeah,
we'll send it to Bobby Gas. Okay, Bobby Gas.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send it to Bobby Gas so it gets lost, and then I'm gonna get 5 attack videos and a Brother Brian elbow off the top rope for and we can talk about that stuff in the freestyle. So we'll work that out.
Smell like marijuana too.
All right. So the other album I'd love to give away is the previous album before Terra Firma. That is Sun Via. Very similar type of sound to Terra Firma. A little bit more. Arnaldo, I don't know if you've heard this one, but those Southern rock cues very prevalent on this record. It's very. I think it was. There's a lot of wandering and a lot of like cacti and that kind of thematic presentation on this. But let's see. So the question I will say is, I named, obviously he was in another band before this. That's where I got my hooks into his creative journey. What was one of the names of the guys in the band who also contributed to these projects? I gave a couple names, and we'll see if anybody, I mean, of course you can probably look these things up online, but I was very deliberate and I dropped 2 names. So I'll take either of those 2 names. And Novice Nick put Robert Gass. That is not one. I will You're not affiliated with this project, but
he did
so we'll see where that comes in. Yeah, Robert Gass was not in any of these bands as far as I know.
I'm supposing we can't participate. Okay.
Well, listen. If we get hard up, David, and nobody answers, then since you put your beak out there, I'll send it to you. I already have your address.
Brian Weaver.
Oh.
Oh.
Well,
don't.
Well, David, I think you just got a free record. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap.
Send
this
it to
one up.
Novus Nick on my behalf.
Nick,
Send it to Novus Nick on my
Nick,
behalf.
I want $3, Nick. I want $3 because that's always your opening bid on these auctions. So you send me $3. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's go ahead and close this part for the podcast. Again, Nick Perri and Underground Thieves, new album Terra Firma. Highly encourage you to check it out. Check it out on streamers.
And there's a video on YouTube called The Pines, and I put a link to it in
there. Yes, I would play it. Yeah, if we weren't running up on time. But yeah, there's a couple of videos, and that's the interesting thing is talking about an independent artist also having to produce your own videos.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very, and now his Nick's on there. I mean, good videos. Even he just dropped this week a video for I Want to Be Free, which kind of had a throwback, like, kid in the 90s kind of playing video games. Kind of resonated with me because I could identify with that. But
sure.
Anywho, I'd like to thank everybody who watched, listened, sat through us playing songs. Again, a new idea here we're trying out on Surface Noise, and my guests for not only bearing the weight of listening to this music, but also giving me their feedback. And I appreciate they spent their time listening to it to come up with objective opinions. And Arnaldo over at Fidelios_frequency. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for inviting me on this.
David Bianco, Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion, wearing a wonderful, wonderful Concert Buddy t-shirt. Thanks for joining us.
Sure.
And then Jason Rojas, soon to be a Texan once again. I think because you used to live in Texas at one point, right? So yeah, return to form.
Just can't wait to get on.
Yep, deep in the heart of Texas.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for joining us. And Seacrest out.
Take care.
All right. So we just freestyle from there on out. So, that was interesting. I mean,
sure.
Something different, kind of mix up the monotony. Jose, we probably should have given a salute to Jose in case he watches this back and know our thoughts and air conditioners are with him, as apparently they're having a power outage in his part of, because he's in Mexico right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Monterrey, right?
Yeah, he's in Monterey. So apparently they're having. Oh, Paul, one of the OGs of the vinyl community. This is Paul Paraka P-Dub, who so many people OGs, Tone Scott, Mr. Hall of Fame Brandon, even Mazzy was talking about him recently, and we recently connected, and so I'm glad he dropped in here. Good to see you, Paul. Fun times. All right, guys, freestyle. So, I mean, if you guys want to talk about the Bobby Gass, Harry Simpleton stuff, we could totally do that. But
okay, so I'm like, it must have happened last week because I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
David, do you want to give the overview on this one? Because,
sure.
Yeah.
So I guess the Cliff's Notes version of it is that Bobby Gass won some records on Harry's auction, and Harry shipped them, and they didn't know what on his end, Bobby's end, what the cost would be for any customs or anything like that. And so there was something like he told Harry, yeah, I got it. They posted a thing, and I think it's like $40 or $33 or something. I think he said 33. And so Harry, and he was like, I didn't know I was going to have to pay that. And so Harry, being the nice guy he is, went ahead and sent him the money to cover that. And then it became a cluster, you know what, of him and whoever the carrier was, DHL or whoever, UPS, I don't know, meeting, you know, coordinating getting the actual package to him. And in that whole time, he and Carrie were going back and forth and back and forth, you know, and he was blaming Harry for stuff. And Harry was like, I can't control whether you're available or not, or whether they, you know, and I guess Bobby was saying he called them and they didn't call back. And then he called after working hours. And it was just every way they turned, they were just, you know, and to me as a seller, you know, Harry did everything he needed to do. He shipped the records. They went to the right place. And then there was something about it saying Bobby Gas versus Robert Gas. And the guy couldn't figure out that Robert and Bobby were the same person because I guess on the plate at his apartment or whatever place, it says, I guess, Robert. And so, but Harry had written Bobby Gas. But yet the address and the apartment number, you know, matched. So it just really a lot of, and they just, I mean, Harry said he's not going to do any more auctions because of it, which is really awful.
Well, the key piece to call out here, I'm sorry, Jason, to cut you off, but is that, you know, the reason this was elevated to a topic in the greater vinyl community.
Because he did a video.
Well, he did multiple videos.
Yes.
He did multiple because
Gas did?
Yes, yeah. So there's multiple videos out there of Bobby doing the play-by-play of what was happening, and ironically, he turned the comments off, I think, on the last one to where Harry was going to respond. So then he went on the Ghost Show and kind of did a rebuttal, but then in his own video as a rebuttal. It's kind of like New Age, East Coast, West Coast, you know, kind of rap back and forth. So interesting. I mean, unfortunately, I think, and Harry even said this. I mean, Harry would love to walk away with this, still being friends with Bobby. He doesn't want to have any ill will, but to David's point, he did say that maybe he's probably going to stick out of the auction game, which do what you got to do, buddy. Everyone's doing an auction these days, so you know, I'll let Harry can decide that.
I've done auctions in a Facebook group, but a very tight group, controlled group, and I've looked at thinking about doing one on YouTube, and it's just too much like the Wild Wild West. I mean, I just don't want. I mean, it just. Yeah, I just don't feel like that's a safe space to do it in.
Have any of you guys bought anything from these YouTube auctions? I'm just curious.
I have. I bought from Harry.
Yep.
I bought from Patrick.
Okay.
I bought,
No problem.
I think I only bought from Mazzy's auction.
Was it a whose record was that? That was
It was the
B-52s?
Dizzy. It was the Dizzy collection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The current series of auctions.
Yeah, those auctions aren't run very well, in my opinion. There's too much. You know, they don't even look at the comments when people ask a question half the time. You know,
a lot of moving parts. I'll say that.
I mean,
I've watched them, but
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and it's nothing against anybody who runs the auctions, but I have yet to buy anything from the auctions just because. Yeah. I've bought from Harry on Whatnot. I did go to support Harry on Whatnot, and I don't generally. And I would love to talk about Whatnot in a little bit, and Jason kind of can guess where I'm going to go with that one. But I don't really find myself on Whatnot too much. I've bought to support friends. Matt Sands is one of them. It's just an impulse control thing for me because I've bought records from other sellers that were just impulse buys. That once I got up and the price is right, the Caesar's Palace type of like, oh, you don't want to lose it. You're only maybe one bid away. And I ended up with like 2 or 3 records. I'll be honest, I didn't really need like a Morgan reissue. I already had like 2 of them, kind of stuff. But I was like, oh, I'm getting it for $20. No, I didn't really need to do that again. So, I hope these guys work it out because I don't really have a dog in the fight. I did notice like the VC tends to do. Then of course there are other companion videos of people, weighing in on their sides of this situation, which is always interesting. But I'll leave it at that.
The key part of this whole debacle, I understood that if you mark it as a gift when it goes to Canada, the recipient doesn't have to pay any taxes. Correct or not?
See, I'm confused on that piece because I know as a shipper, and maybe you guys have done this too. I know the freight is more to get it to Canada. Understood. You got to fill out a declaration form, all that stuff. I was under the impression that they have to pay, I guess, is it a VAT tax? Like there's and Jason, if Jason's still here, he's a correspondent on the ground in Canada. Maybe he can weigh on this. I was always under the impression that the receiver has to pay something. I could be way wrong on that. But if it's identified as a gift, maybe that's the workaround. I'm 100% not sure.
Yeah, that's how, for example, I sent some things to Rachel. She never told me she had to pay anything. I specifically marked it as a gift. I put even a note in there. So not really sure. I guess maybe he put in an invoice and they opened it at customs.
All I know is that the last place I left it, and I haven't been following this that closely. Shame on me, bad host. But I believe Bobby got the records eventually, kept the records, and then Harry also just was like, I don't want to deal with this. I'm sending you a refund. Before it was known he had the records in the game, Bobby records, and he has the money. Maybe they work something out backwards. I haven't caught up on it, but it's an unfortunate roll of the dice. And another reason why I'm always apprehensive about shipping outside the country, because I've shipped records to Latin America and that didn't go well. I've shipped them across the pond to Europe.
I'll tell you one thing. On Discogs, I sell on Discogs. I have an inventory on Discogs, and I sold a record to someone in Switzerland, and they were willing to pay whatever. I think it was like $32 to have it shipped.
Did you get a quote beforehand? Did you work up the weight?
Actually, the calculation from Discogs was correct.
Okay, cool.
It was correct. Actually, it was a few dollars more than what it actually cost. Maybe like $4 or $5 more. But and it kind of surprised me because it was the Alice Coltrane. The title I can't pronounce.
The Pata.
No, the other one. The other one.
The other. Oh, yeah, the other one. The red cover. I'm the
Journey to Sachadinada.
Thank you. And it was the previous Impulse version because I purchased the recent reissue, the Acoustic Sounds ones. I figured, okay, this is better than the previous one. So someone bought it. Apparently that is like sought after now because I can't see anyone paying more for the older version than the better remastered, but whatever. So I'm tracking the package and it goes all the way to Switzerland. And then I'm like, okay, it's waiting to clear customs. I lose track of it for a couple days. Next thing I know, it arrives back at my house.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what the hell happened here? So I email the buyer and I tell them, like, did you not go and pick up the package? Because then I saw the entire history where they were basically a notification was sent awaiting for package to be picked up. That's what it said.
Sure.
And I'm telling you, weeks went by. I figured he had gotten it because I saw that it was in Switzerland waiting to clear customs. And then 2 weeks later, I see it in my apartment. And I email him. He's like, well, I never received any notification. I'm like, what do you mean? You weren't tracking the package? I sent you the link to track it. And he's like, I was never notified. Can you please reship it to my work address?
Oh, boy.
And I was like, I'll gladly reship it to you, but it's going to cost you another $30. And he's like, yeah, that's no problem. It's fine. He said, give me your email or whatever, your PayPal, and let me know how to pay for it. And then I shipped it to him. I sent it to his work address, and he got it, and he's satisfied. So it's hit or miss, I guess. I had someone who paid for shipping twice because they really wanted the record. And it's not really, I don't think it's a real, it's a rare record.
Oh, but they accepted some level of responsibility. See, that's the difference.
At that point, I was going to, if he didn't want to pay for the shipping, I would have said, listen, I'll refund you your purchase.
Sure.
But I can't refund you the shipping because I sent the record at that point and you didn't pick it up or they didn't deliver it to you. So yeah, I think foreign mail services are not as reliable as the United States. But then again, people here complain about how bad the USPS is here. And this is not the first time. I sent something also to, I want to say it was France or Germany, and I was tracking the package as it was moving along the system. It went to the destination, came back to JFK for no reason, it went back to the destination, and then it got delivered finally. But I saw that the package crossed the Atlantic twice for no reason.
I think anytime that there's more touch points, I've learned this, Justin, and David probably can empathize, like manufacturing, the less touch points, the less opportunity for mishap, mistakes, formula problems, etc., etc., etc. So I hear.
I've had I don't think I have really any trouble with USPS. Now I send really good packaging so that that's not going to get messed up, unlike Rhino.
Wait,
but
you don't use these Uline mailers history that damage a $200 record? Yeah.
Okay. And I've even sent to Puerto Rico, which you can do with U.S. Postal Service, and I've had no trouble. So I don't know. I just but I had not done anything. Canada I sent to Rachel through USPS, and it got there fine, no problem. She didn't have to pay on it.
So another question I have for you guys, and this is kind of a working hypothesis, but I'll lead off with, did any of you guys participate in the Sound of Vinyl free records sitch over the weekend?
Dude, I'm still trying to order something. It's like ridiculous. I was able to put one record in the cart, and I had that shipped. I placed the order. It hasn't shipped yet. And I'm still trying to add stuff to the cart. It's ridiculous.
Well, before I go to the other guys, I had to read online. Apparently, you had to order each one separately. Did you know that?
Cart.
Yes.
Per cart.
Okay. Well, I missed that memo.
I kept running into that because I had like 5 records in my cart and only one was showing up, and I'm like, okay, I've ordered records online before. Like maybe this whole thing is broke. And then I went to the Reddit. I think it's the Vinyl Race subreddit.
The Reddit thread said something like, "Oh, you have to trick it. Add some titles. Add some titles to your wish list. Then add up to 6 records." I was able to get 3 in one shipment.
Oh, you did get 3. Okay,
no, not me. Good. The thread. The guy who was commenting said I was able to get 3 in one shipment.
Yeah, Nick, I'm gonna actually Nick. So Nick's ears perked up when I said free records. So a little context. For me, I guess it was Saturday night. One of my buddies in the community sent me a text and said, "Hey, did you hear about this?" and sent me a link. And at first, I didn't have his phone number. Like I communicate with him on Instagram, everything but phone for whatever reason. So the phone came up as like a number I didn't have in my address book. So I thought it was spam because they're like, "Hey, did you hear about this deal?" And then there was a link to the Sound of Vinyl, and I had to do the like. I didn't want to do new number who dis. But I was like, "Oh, that looks great. My address book's wonky. Can you tell me who it is?" And he's like, "Oh, it's me, friend Brandon." So I went on there, and I'll put this in the chat, Nick. Let me send it to myself. And but yeah, I was very. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, if it's at worst, it's not going to happen, and it's a mistake, and it's a website issue, they cancel the order. Never hurts to try. So I was a little grotesque in the amount of orders. Once I saw you had to order one each, like there are so many I ordered that, again, because you got them for free, a little context again, but you had to pay the shipping. So the shipping could range from $8 for a single LP to, if it was like a 2-disc, I think it was $10. But essentially $8 per record, if you think of it that way. To me, it was a gamble. Jason, did you get in on any of this, or did you hear about this?
No, I heard about it when I think last time you were talking about it on some other live stream, and I checked out the titles, and I think at that time there were only like 4 titles that were sold out, so that was kind of amazing.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. Well, anyway, so from my experience, this sounds really grotesque. I think I have probably maybe let's call it 10 orders. I haven't quantified them yet between the 2 days because I went back. So I did that Saturday. I ordered like I went back Sunday just for shits and grins, and it was still live. And in fact, some titles that were sold out came back into stock. Right?
It's still live now.
It's
and
still live now.
still live? Yeah.
I just put a link in there.
Oh, yeah. Let me grab that from. Did you put it in the chat?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. Yeah.
Send it to the private chat if you could.
I sent
David.
it to the public one too.
Oh, did it come through?
Didn't it?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
Throw it to me in the private chat, and I'll throw it up there.
Okay.
Too. But yeah, so then I bought like 4 more. But I did, it's like anything else. Is there going to be shipping confirmation? And I've gotten 3 so far. Not all of them, but I've gotten 3. Did you get any yet, Arnaldo?
No, because the only one I placed was yesterday.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So I haven't gotten any.
It's there.
Thank you, sir.
It's in the YouTube chat.
All right, so buddies, if you're watching this, I mean, this is a bonanza of opportunity here. Just click on that link, and the cheats are the items have $0 value, but you have to check out individually each one, and it works. All you're doing is paying shipping. So if it doesn't work out, don't blame me, don't blame Jason, don't blame Arnold, don't blame David. We're just simply caught up in the gamut of free records. Well, anyway, so the question I have, and I have a theory, but I'll get your guys' feedback first. Why do you think they're doing this?
High inventory.
Yeah, clearing out inventory.
So I'm going to lean on you on this one, Arnaldo, because, and maybe you know this. How do they handle it if they're not charging? I mean, obviously we know it doesn't cost $8 to ship a record, right? So how do you think that? I mean, is this a write-off? Is this something that they're just fueling a shipping budget? Like, how do you think they, from a balance sheet perspective, how do they justify this?
Well, I believe Sound of Vinyl is owned by Universal,
Correct.
so they're getting the records at cost, which for a single record is probably $650 at most.
Okay.
Anywhere between $500 and $650. So I'm guessing if they're charging $8, it really costs $4 to send media mail a single record. So they're kind of breaking even, almost. They're not
as opposed to taking a write-off of a loss, and at least it's
well. I mean, there's different. I don't know why they chose this way to get rid of inventory, because they could do. There's tons of retailers out there that will take stuff at cost and sell it. Like, you want to get rid of inventory. I mean, you could sell it for $10, which is still ahead of the game. But typically, a wholesale price is $16 on a $24.99. So even if you sell it to Amazon or any of these big box retailers for $10, they're still going to mark it up to like 15 or 17, and they'll still sell it because there's still a market for a $25 record that'll probably sell for $15 or $17. So why they're choosing this avenue to get rid of extra inventory, I don't know.
I have 2 theses. One is that their goodwill budget or their returns budget, they haven't exhausted near as much as they budgeted for. And they have contracts coming up with carriers. And the number of iterations of shipments you have affects your rate for the coming term of the contract.
So they want that to be higher so they can get a lower fee. Okay, that would make sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's hence why you can only do one title per ship.
Oh, yeah.
It's transaction based.
Look at that. Look at this. We solved the caper, boys. Now, Paul's got a good point, because there were some titles that, I mean, honestly, if they weren't essentially $8, I probably wouldn't have bought them.
Yeah.
There was like the Elton John Jewel Box 3-discer. Like,
actually, that's the one I'm trying to get.
Okay.
I'm tempted by that one.
Of all the records you picked, that one.
The rarities, the rarities one.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're gonna take a flyer on 3 discs, because there is no way I would pay 20 or more for that. This is not my thing, right? But $8 to $10. I mean, again, worst case, I could trade it in somewhere if I don't like it, or move it on, or do whatever. But
VCLT it.
That's true. You could VCLT it. Trying to think what else. There were some Elton John records, because they're reissuing his catalog, and so there was some ones that had been out of print that they put back in print recently.
Steely Dan Live is really good. It's $38 normally, and that's a great album.
That was in there. Did you pull the trigger on that one, David?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
But it opens up another part of this conversation is that we all know that Acoustic Sounds is having some kind of midlife crisis, blowout sale in a lot of areas of their shop, right? Do you think that with that, even Amazon, I think Monday was blowing inventory. Do you think that this is market correction in that there's probably a lot of titles that were overproduced, and now since prices have escalated, the consumer appetite for these, let's call them so titles, is just not there.
Sorry.
And so now it's because I saw this in my industry. My friends at Nike saw it when I talked to them about it, because coming out of COVID, there was the elasticity of production, sales, demand. Like it seemed to be kind of like a game of Pong, right? Like you could, and even to this day, it's still hard to kind of get your pulse of a lot of this. So this is, to me, the first time I've seen this in vinyl per se. Like I said, in my business, we saw it last year. My Nike friends. Do you think there's anything to that? And do you think that there's going to be more of this? Because I wouldn't be surprised if Walmart pulls their little November $15 sale up and moves some inventory earlier. That's my opinion. What do you guys think?
Well, it was early last year. It was they did it at the beginning of November.
They did, yeah. Instead
Yeah.
of around like Cyber, yeah, you're right,
They
David.
They were doing each day a special, and that was one of them early. I think there's more to come.
Jason, what do you think?
Let's see if I can show this.
Hang on, I'll make you big. Hang on, hold please. Did you get two of those?
Oh, where's the Barry Manilow one?
Oh man,
Now don't say that too
know.
loud. Matt will be he'll be woken from slumber and join us. Trust me, Barry Manilow is the trigger word, but
Oof. Somehow
Jason-
they need to sell that. They need to get.
Brian Ferry albums. I didn't see those on there.
I saw a couple.
Okay. Interesting. He said, Christopher says, I was happy to get the Brian Ferry albums for $8 per. I have original, so I wasn't going to spend $29 each on them, but that sale was a no-brainer. Agreed.
They're re-releasing a bunch of early Motown stuff in mono albums, which is interesting.
Live from the Greek. I mean, that's what he's known for, right? The Greek theater performances and recorded. Oh, Jason, you had to get 3 of those. There's no doubt about it. Stocking stuff. That's hilarious.
I mean, the fact that they had to reissue that record. That's a common $1, $2 record, but repressed, reissued.
I mean, there's always titles that are head scratchers. I mean, taste is relative, right? I wouldn't knock people for enjoying that kind of stuff, but hey, listen, there's got to be some Keith Urban fans out there who could not wait to get their hands on that one.
I know, this is cheap too, $0.
I think the price is wrong. Is that what they say? That's funny. Arnaldo, what do you think about that? Do you think that we're in a market shift, that we're having some corrective action? Because these inventories have to be high. I mean, I just, that's my gut feel based on Acoustic Sounds, like slashing prices, and now this.
The inventory that retailers have is definitely serious. I don't know what stream I heard it. Basically, Chad was ordering thousands, like 1,000 copy per release. And I overheard in one of the streams, like he's decided that he's not going to be doing that anymore.
Fremer and Westman. It was Fremer and Westman.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. And then it's one way for retailers. So if they can get just their money back, which again, on some of those titles, it's, anywhere between $14, $16, depending. So if you see an album slashed down to that price, or even a couple bucks less,
Sure.
They're still like, they're breaking even. They're not losing money on it. What they're doing is just freeing up some cash.
Yeah, working capital. Yep.
Yeah, and then probably freeing out space also in their warehouses.
I mean, surely one of us on the panel got that Adele record for $5. I did see that on Acoustic Sounds.
No, I refuse. I refuse.
No. Chad sent me $5. Wrong.
And you know what the problem is with that record? It's not a good record.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
It like when I listened to it the day it came out, I was like, this is boring and such a waste of her talent, like vocal talent. Because no one can deny, her. She's effortless when she sings. It's
Sure,
like,
I agree.
But at least the previous albums, I actually enjoyed the songs. But this one, I found it so boring and kind of like a bit, self-indulgent at point. It's a bad record in my opinion.
And but they make 500,000 of these. They pressed 500,000. Well, that was the number being thrown out.
I think I heard 3, maybe.
300. Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
All I know is Mr. Kassem had them for $5 at one point at the beginning of this sale. And
he was actually doing dynamic pricing because initially it was $5.99. Then it went back up.
I noticed that. Yes.
So I don't know if he's got some bot in there that's actually doing an Amazon algorithm where they're tweaking the prices as soon as people start.
Hang on, you've seen the website, right, Arnaldo? You've seen the website.
I'm not thinking that.
Color me skeptical on.
He probably needs to invest, upgrade the website rather than get a bot.
He's using the same AI that's doing John Lennon's voice,
So Christopher said he picked up some mobile fidelity, and so Platinum was another one. Now Platinum.
I haven't been to Platinum
seasonal sales. Yeah, Platinum has seasonal, and they usually start it for their locals like Friday, Saturday, and then they open it up to online. I wasn't that surprised to see it. I was surprised to see that everything was 15% off, and then select titles were an additional 10, 20, and 40% off of that. I did feel that was some aggressive inventory moving, but
so there's one title that I was curious about.
Okay.
And I don't know if any of you guys have it. Are you guys familiar with Quincy Jones, the Dude?
Yes,
absolutely.
Seen it. Yes.
Did you get the recent reissue that came out?
Mm-mm.
Supposedly it came out in a tip-on jacket. I mean, the version they have there on the site is like a splatter vinyl. And I know Quincy Jones is a stickler for how his music is supposed to sound.
Sure.
The Dude was also in the Quincy Jones VMP box set, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was just curious to know if anyone had a chance to pick up the recent the Dude reissue.
Was that in that sale? Was that?
Yeah, it's currently in the sale. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
The original is so good. I'm just not sure where I'd go with that. To be honest,
I know. And the original, you could buy it for $5.
It's common, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. I see it.
It's on translucent vinyl too.
The original?
Yeah, and it was done. Bruce Swedeen was the mix that, and Bernie Grunman mastered it.
So
I'm just not sure where the hell you go with that. To be honest,
I know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that? I mean, somebody had brought up "Final Me Please." I think Arnaldo had mentioned in the box set. I mean, I can only imagine that they're going to jump in on this too, because I think the inventory situation has to be affecting everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, because they did that promotion. I still haven't activated that promotion. When you sign up for a year or whatever, they give you 8 free records. I'm playing the long game. I dug in on my inner Jason Rojas. I did.
I'm doing the same thing. I'm
Thank
like,
you. Yes.
But you know what the problem is? That albums that are now currently in stock that I really want to add, and if I wait any longer, they may go out of stock.
It's true. This is the gamble. So, Jason, how should we handle this? You are our patience sensei. How would you handle this? Because we don't want to be too patient. When is the right time to
pull the trigger,
the fly out of the air with the chopsticks?
So, for example, Jason, I know you have that. Like on one, like I'm adding up the titles. I have to add up to 8. One of them is the Hey Jude album. You have that, right? The
Hey Jude.
The Wilson Pickett.
Oh,
yes.
You guys recommend?
I recommend it. It sounds,
in terms of sound quality. The music, yes. I streamed it. I really like it.
I think the sound quality is okay. Yeah. I'll have to dig up my original, but I think it's fair. It's It's like, that's a great album. There's a couple solid tracks on that.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the last ones he did, I think. No, because he did like Right On, and then there was like 2 more, I think. Live in Philadelphia, I think. Yeah, but that one's worth picking up.
That
Yeah,
Quincy
Paul.
Jones, by the way,
That-
that Quincy
And-
Jones was, by the way, that was pressed at Palace in
Which one?
Virginia.
No, which one? The reissue?
The dude, yeah.
The
The
reissue?
color reissue. Yeah.
Any comments on that you've been able to find?
Now let me see. I heard about that when they said it was done at Palace. I thought it was Germany, and then I found out no, it was in Virginia.
Mm.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, nothing really in reviews. It's the reviews are kind of spotty. So,
So a developing story. So
yeah.
we will keep our eyes on the prize, and we'll report back if there are more. You should always check in on the Concert Buddy YouTube channel. I post this shit all the time about these sales, and only a couple people comment on it. So you guys are doing yourself a disservice. What about pickups, guys? What anything cool? Jason, I know you're in the process of moving. So are you even buying records right now? Or are you on a hiatus?
No, I'm on hiatus. No
Dry.
more.
You just cold turkeyed it, huh? That's tough.
Yes, it's rough. Like I don't know.
Are you taking anything for the FOMO?
Taking what?
Any medication for the FOMO?
No.
No, he's a fear of
I'll just-
moving out.
I just watched the Bobby Gas videos. That's all.
Oh,
That's the hit you need. That's the hit you
that'll do
need.
it. That'll do it.
Yes.
That'll do it.
Yeah. That's too funny.
Well, you say FOMO, the Rhino cars are gone. They're done. No more.
Oh, they sold through them?
And
Oh,
guess what? I caved and I ordered it.
and you get it yet?
You just made it.
I'm keeping my it's shipped. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it doesn't come in a stupid mailer like some other people said in a loose box.
I mean, here's the amount of padding I've been told you get with it. I actually didn't buy it because I already have to fight this enough with my own purchases.
I didn't get the Coltrane, which is still in stock, but I'm glad
that's
I
in
got
stock.
the Cars one.
No,
I'm glad I bought 2.
I don't know. I'll buy it from somebody on Discogs. I'll pay a non-split seam split tax to make sure that my copy is shipped properly the second time. If somebody won the Royal Lottery and didn't get damage to theirs and then wants to ship it to me
But
for
a lot of
$2
people
more.
I heard got a good copy, like it didn't get damaged.
Yeah, mine didn't.
Well, it's interesting because one of those people, and this is a great segue, was Jason's favorite record store owner in Arizona, Miguel Esposito. Purchased. I saw the video. He purchased. Now, first of all, let's give credit to our panelist, David Bianco, first to market with the Cars review, a very good review. And I've even heard it referenced in a couple other videos who were actually giving you credit as they should, because you were first to do the review of countless.
That was luck of the draw. That was just luck of the draw.
Yeah, no, it was a good review. Yeah. But no, Mr. Esposito made a video and he ordered one and it came damaged. So when you order one that comes damaged, and apparently that's one of the running jokes right now in the community is this customer service situation, because apparently there is no customer service. And I think even Rev Rock and Rollin has adopted a new persona, which I think is genius, which he's just the best. But referencing
what's the new persona?
I think he says director of customer service at Rhino or something along those lines. So tongue in cheek, I like it. But anyway, so Mike ordered a second copy because that's what you do when you get a damaged one. And the second one came back. I mean, literally is like luck of the draw. The second one had no damage. So, but anyway, speaking of Mr. Esposito, I think he put a video out last couple of days. I've been kind of in a work haze, so I apologize. So it might have been over the weekend. I guess he came into a giant audiophile-ish collection, a lot of top pieces. No, Arnaldo's already waving it off. And of course, because we are all still mourning the gold. I can't even say it with a straight face. The gold membership has gone bye-bye. So we are still in a state of shock. I'm borderline catatonic at times. If you ask me privately off stream, What happened?
It froze.
Oh, maybe I froze. Am I
You
back?
froze, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm being hacked by that thing he was using on the Mazzy auction. Remember the signal interrupted. We're getting attacked from Arizona. No,
What did he call it? The
the signal
the pig.
The pig. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's definitely using that on this giant stream of 18 people. So he got this collection and he went straight to Whatnot. So before I give you my feedback, what do you guys think about this?
I have better ways to employ my precious time rather than watch a video hyping a collection that is going to be overpriced and end up on Whatnot. I don't know. I have no interest in watching a video that's just bragging about a collection that he's going to be selling. Who cares? I'm never going to buy anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
Make a video that adds value.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt like an advertisement, which teach his own. But again, going back to what I was kind of talking about Whatnot earlier, I just don't think it's the best place to buy vinyl. For some, maybe, but stuff like this, like if you're trying to get your hands, and I'm just speaking from a collector, right? If there's one of those things that I'm looking for, and then I hear it's going to be on Whatnot, I'm already turned off. I'm not even interested because I know it's not going to be attainable. Even if it was Discogs, let's use that out there. It's not going to go for Discogs Median because you're going to get into the FOMO. You're going to get into
Then you're going to get into the adrenaline, factor.
Right. It's the gambling Caesar's Palace mentality, and the last thing I need to do is be bidding up something that I probably shouldn't even be buying in the first place. Right. But Jason, what do you think about this? Because I know you and I exchanged a couple messages. I think you even alerted me to it because you knew how desperately I was trying to get my hands on that Rolling Stone Mobile Fidelity box set that comes in the original packaging, by the way.
And where did that appear?
Mike's going to be
in his video.
In his video.
I needed one of those.
Well, I know where one's going to be, but can anybody on the day afford? I'm sure people could afford it. Do you want to pay?
I don't want
elevated
it
price
from a quality standpoint.
That's fair.
I don't think it sounds that great. That's just me.
But I'm telling you, he's going to get his price.
Oh,
are you trying to hurt Esposito's auction right now, David? Are you trying to?
I'm giving my opinion.
Well, if I duck in there and I'll set an alert, and when that comes up, if I see David Dianco bidding up that Rolling Stone box set, I'll know to fix it then. Okay.
How much are you willing to pay for it?
Oh no, that's not something I'd even go. I just use it as an example, but I mean,
more interesting what the mono will go for. The Beatles mono's more.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's something I'm interested in, but I'm not interested in 1500. I'm not even.
Which mono is it?
Beatles mono box.
The one, the 2015.
Oh, the 2015. Okay, not the 80s one.
No,
the red 80s one.
No.
But he did have.
Looks like this.
No, I have that. I have that one. Yeah.
But he did have the UHQR of Dark Side, right? Sealed, if I'm not mistaken. And he was mentioned that it's gone for thousands of dollars. So he's already said
$5,000, I think.
Right, he's already set the table that this is going to be pricey. So cross that one off the list.
I sold that one for $1,200 sealed in 2012.
Woo, David. Yeah. You go to Bermuda on that? I mean, back then that was a good price. So it sounds like, I mean, if I'm taking a straw poll, it sounds like no one's going to be watching Whatnot this Sunday at.
Well, I'm going to watch it like I watch Colecco. Speaking of which, is it time?
It may be time. Are we coming up on the hour? I was going to try to keep it tight, and this may be the time we need to run it down. I think I've covered my topics. Anything else to talk about, fellows? We can end it with Colecco. Like we've kind of prone to do. Let me fire that one up.
Unless he's gone and got his Wendy's burger between 9:30 and 10.
That's possible. I mean, David, you and I talked about this, but I mean that collection he ran into with the 13th floor elevators.
Yeah. And
he got $475 for it. I was very surprised he got that because I expected a little bit less. But what do I know? I don't. Is he even online right now?
He was earlier.
Well, maybe the word's getting to him that we spoof his live auctions. Oh
He-
no.
Is he there?
Oh boys. All right.
Is it live?
It's live, so let's run this for a few minutes and then we'll close the stream down because
It's
I mean
just such a great.
this is listen, people watching this at home. This is a public service announcement. We're not making fun of this guy, even though we kind of are, but this is just to educate you
It's
on what
education.
not to pay for records. But also, if you're interested in overpaying for Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, a very common record with somebody's got writing on it. I have to show this one. Hold please. Let's get this queued up because this is one I'm sure people do not want to miss this one. Here we go.
A very nice
So in it,
mint and a very nice jacket. $15 start on that. And Jay Giles
Ooh,
band
15.
Hotline. EX condition, BG Plus cover, $5 start on Hotline. $5 start on Hotline. Jay
I never
Giles.
saw that record.
Here's
Very
what's
rare.
left in this bin. REO Speedway.
Ooh.
You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
fish.
$19.99. Rod Stewart, A Night on the Town, $14.99. Straub's Hero and Heroin, that's in shrink
Paid
wrap,
$5 2
$14.99.
weeks ago for that.
In Excess, Listen Like Thieves, $9.99. Al Stewart, Year of the Cat, $16.99.
$3.
Charlie Rich, Very Special Love Songs, $14.99. Quicksilver, What About Me, $19.99 on Quicksilver. Climax Blues Band, Flying the Flag, $19.99. J.J. Cale,
What Goodwill did he get these
$34.99.
from?
The Smithereens, Especially for You. The Smithereens, $29.99. Electric Light Orchestra, A
$29.
New World Record, $19.99. Nuggets, Original Artifacts from the First Psychedelic Era, 65 to 68. Highly recommend. 2 LP, $44.99. The Rolling Stones is mint in shrink wrap and hype sticker. Some Girls, $39.99. Crosby, Stills, and Nash,
what?
15.
Doesn't even have the
Jay
ladies
Giles,
on it.
15. Crosby, Stills, and
hell?
Nash, 20, 20, 22, and now 25 with Jeff Bergman. The Smithereens, Green Thoughts, $24.99 on the Smithereens. The Syndicate of Sound, Little Girl, that's $34.99 for the Syndicate of Sound. La Belle, Nightbirds, featuring Lady Marmalade, $14.99 on La Belle. Checkmate, The Lemon Pipers and 1910 Fruit Gum Company, $14.99 on Checkmate. A Hardline, according to Terrence Trent D'Arby, that is $34.99, the Hardline, TTD. CSN, 25 now 30. Final Call on Hotline for 15. The Long Harvest, Edwin McCall and Peggy Seeger, $19.99. Our Generation box set, $34.99, 3 LP or 4 LP. Boston, Third Stage, $34.99. Randy Newman, Good Old
Wow.
Boys, $19.99. Jeff Southern, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Chip Hall has that for $30. Final Call. ABBA's Greatest Hits, $19.99. Three Dog Night, Hard Labor, $19.99. The Dirt Band, Make a Little Magic, $14.99. That's in shrink wrap. Genesis is surprisingly still available. Near mint with the original inner sleeve. Mint vinyl, $19.99 on Genesis. Abacab. Ringo's Rotogravure, $24.99. Bachman Turner Overdrive, or this is Bachman Turner and Bachman as Brave Belt with Chad Allen, $19.99. This is Roger Daltrey, Under a Raging Moon, $9.99. Introducing the Beatles is $19.99. Foreigner self-titled debut in shrink wrap, $19.99. Santana 3, $24.99. The Very Best of Jay and the Americans, $9.99. Tommy James and the Shondells, Great Hits.
That chest hair.
That's 20 track, $16.99. Tommy James, Three Times in Love, $24.99. Leon Russell is $19.99. Badfinger, $29.99 in shrink wrap. Quicksilver, $19.99, and Rod Stewart, $34. Chip Hall gets Crosby, Stills, and Nash for $30.
The live record is
sold
34.
at auction, and Terry Westwood gets
Get
Jay
outta
Giles
here.
for $15.
Greatest hits.
Those are all sold.
Crosby,
Now,
Stills, and Nash
let's go
was
back
30.
to some stuff from previously shown tonight.
He's got DJ
I'm gonna
Jazzy
put
Jeff
this
up there. I
way
can only
over here
imagine how
'cause
much
I've already
that
been
went
through
for.
that one 3 times now.
Let's put to the side.
I got all the hardcore type music. That's kind of time consuming to go through, but I'm sure some of y'all would like to see it once again. A lot of it is still available. There's one crate of it. Here's a crate of vintage I think I went through. This may be the first crate of vintage I went through tonight. Let me put this Black Sabbath away. This looks like another crate of vintage I went through tonight.
Here comes
It
the vintage.
is. I think I can condense these two. Let me try to do that. Yeah, I
After
think
you,
this is the
Chad.
first and second bins I went through here. I think the second bin I went through was check condition.
I think the cops heard
Still
about
got, these are about
prices.
half crates, so quite a bit out of these, but there's
For
still
his
some great
prices, he's
titles,
under arrest.
especially in this check condition bin. So there's that. Now we have an empty crate. Is there anything y'all want to see again? You want me to go back through the vintage? I don't know if we'll take a break tonight. I really could.
No bathroom
use
breaks,
one
no
to get
bio
reset
breaks on
here.
this one.
But we have so many people
You
on
got a
already. I
catheter.
looked down a while ago. We have 212 viewers. Let me keep all the
212
hardcore and top
viewers.
stuff together.
Wow.
So there's the 2 condensed crates there.
And then he's got viewers on
Lots of new
Facebook
vinyl
too.
tonight.
Yeah, he's got dual platform on this.
Say that again.
He's got dual
Ask Seth.
platform.
Seth, what do you want to do? Let me guess. You want to take a break?
Break.
Seth says he's going to take a break regardless.
They still got a bunch of them. Yes, Tanner just.
Well, I definitely want to go back through a little bit more, and then if we do that,
60 on
I can
Facebook.
condense some new vinyl here. Good new vinyl titles tonight. Of course, we sold a bunch. It's kind of hard on my memory because I wasn't here selling it at 6 o'clock. Well, I was here, but Paul was actually on the mic selling them, so I kind of see that some of it's gone, but I kind of order all this, so sometimes I like to see what sells so I can keep up with it a little bit better. Let's see.
I mean, on new stuff.
Megadeth Funko.
he's
We
like
still got a
retail plus
bunch of them.
$3.
Yes.
Oh,
Tanner just
hang
put
on.
up a
We've got
Megadeth Funko. I think
Funkos
those are
have entered the chat.
$14.99.
Oh my
I'm trying to
God.
empty some crates here so I can get a better assessment of how much is left. I cannot see comments right now either. So
Hey,
give
no,
us a
Because
Nick,
you're not
go on.
showing anything.
Nick,
also,
Nick,
maybe
go
everybody
under
can
and
let me
bid
know where you're
$3.
watching from because I know we have a lot of new buyers, especially if you are a new buyer. Let us know where you're watching from. That always helps the chat too. Get some new comments in. Yeah, I think if I condense these, we've got about 2 crates of hardcore music left. Here's the second most recent bin of vintage we went through. So I'm going to put that right here. We probably need to go back through that one. There was Tool. There's a crate we already been through. There's the Rush and White Stripes
He's
crate.
talking to himself.
Yeah, we got a bunch of new
I wonder if
vinyl.
this is live?
We've condensed all Wisconsin
Next bid, $3.
as the
There it
DJ
is.
that has sold. Yes.
Oh, there. Oh, you got me.
So-
Oh,
Um,
damn it.
What was I about to do? Let's grab this crate of vintage
He
stuff
must
here.
need another hit of
Let's
Coke
go
or
back through
something.
this second time.
He
And
needs a
what was that
Monster Energy drink
devastation?
stat.
I
Can
need to find
anybody-
that for who was
Put it
that?
out.
Felix
Oh,
Quintanilla.
here we go.
There we go.
Vintage, vintage, fellas. Vintage
All right,
coming up.
Here we go. Get ready. Get ready to order.
More Bill Monroe. I don't know if I have any more Bill Monroe.
So ready.
Let's see. Man of War, Razor, Sacrifice, SOD, Hallows Eve. Who offered for Hallows Eve earlier? Somebody made an offer on Hallows Eve.
Devil made me do it.
It already set a crate up there. Let me pull a couple of these out. Voivod. What was that? So Man of War, Razor, Chubby, Sacrifice.
Oh, hang on. Hang on. Oh,
Diamond. Here's some
Miami
of the
Dave is
like
really going after it.
of these. Hallows Eve, Executioner, Thrust. Felix is wanting Destruction. Let me see if I can find that. I don't think it's in that crate. That was the last crate we showed there. And let's see.
Dylan. Yeah, I'm surprised he's not on Whatnot, to be honest with you. But it would make it
Well,
easier.
on Whatnot, he has to pay a fee,
Which
right?
is always popular. We sold all
Yeah.
the skeletons. Laz Rocket,
Yeah.
kind of surprised that's still there.
But see, they bundle all the sales you do in 1 week, and it's $7 shipping for
I
everything
don't
for
see
that,
that.
week for you. So if you bought 40 albums,
really
in
don't
3
see that,
days, you'll use $7.
Felix.
That's one of his.
Maybe
selling
it's in
points.
this crate. Was it? It's not in the last metal crate. Maybe there's Raven, Master.
I gotta say, the presentation today is really lagging because he
Yeah.
looking
I
at
may have
something
found
off
it.
screen.
You
Yeah.
said
Got about,
devastation, not
He's got
destruction,
some dead
right?
air here.
Yeah.
He must have been watching Rachel.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Business just picking up.
Okay.
I will say that for $85.
What? What is that?
$85.
Wow.
I don't know.
And
but it's
then we had an
$85.
offer for the sealed All Hallows Eve. We had it at 69. We had an offer for 62. Let's go ahead and sell that All Hallows Eve, the sealed All Hallows Eve. Yeah, $62.99. All right, so
Selling
Felix,
Halloween
85
records
on
in
that.
June.
And then we're going to go ahead and sell that to Chris Reynolds, Hallows Eve. That's sold to you for $62.99. We're going to sell that to Felix for $85.
Damn, Felix. Bucking up.
Okay. Did I miss any Megadeth Funko claims? Anybody
Felix
want a
is about to be
Megadeth
missing
Funko?
his trailer
These are
park pad wrap with
$14.99. Vic Rattlehead, $14.99 if anybody's interested in those. Okay. Let's see what we have here. And this being Acid Bath is sold. Let me make sure this is the bin I want to go through. I'll go through these, I guess, for the second time tonight. So I guess if you do want to throw out some offers out there, I'll be entertaining to that.
Like $40,
and then we'll try to go through. We'll either take a break and restart the stream for like a part 2 of On Sale Records, or we'll just keep going. So
I know what Bianco's going to be doing after our stream is over.
Earlier
Part 2.
new crate. Sealed carnivore in an earlier new crate.
I gotta have some entertainment.
I guess I still have that, Chris Gardner. Can you remind me of the title? These things are kind of hard for me.
I got a video to
distinguish one
record.
from another, but I will try to find that. Green River is sold. Anthony Smith said he'll take a Vic Funko. Vic Rattlehead sold to Anthony Smith. Okay, we have the Best of the Music Machine, $29.99 for the Best of the Music Machine. Pink Floyd Animals, a 1977 press, is $64.99. Pink Floyd Animals, $64.99. The Story of the Who is $39.99. That's Red Polydor 2LP. The Story of the Who, $39.99. The Sutherland Brothers and Quiver Slipstream, that is $19.99 in shrink wrap. Sutherland Brothers and Quiver. Mungo Santa Maria Red Hot, $19.99. Mungo Santa Maria Red Hot. Oh, that's a lot of syllables. The Fools Out of Order Worldwide Dance Party, $14.99. I'll recap a bin of metal as soon as I go back through this one.
Malaya, jump back on. We've got some records
Vic
for you.
Rattlehead. Ellison's Broadway, $24.99. Shane, I don't remember selling a Vision of Disorder, so it still may be available. The Music Machine featuring Talk Talk, 1993 press with some cover damage at the top, $24.99. Argent Nexus, $17.99 on Argent. We have Diodato Prelude, $19.99 for Diodato. Rod Stewart, Footloose and Fancy Free, $14.99 for Rod Stewart.
Oh, no,
Eric Clapton's Rainbow
no.
Concert, $34.99. ZZ Top Eliminator is mint in shrink wrap, $34.99. Hoffman Turner Overdrive, Head On, $14.99 on BTO. ABBA is $19.99. Three Dog Night Naturally is $19.99. And Another Side of Bob Dylan is a 65 stereo press, $99.99 for Another Side of Bob Dylan. Pink Floyd Metal, two Pink Floyd albums in here. We have Metal and Animals. Metal is a 71 OG, $54.99. David Bowie Diamond Dog, $64.99. $64.99.
Wow.
Orange RCA label, 74 Hollywood Press, $64.99 on
Patrick,
Diamond
the vinyl archivist.
Dogs.
We need him to destroy this
Pink
guy.
Floyd,
Yes.
and we have
Here
the
we go.
Beatles Hard Day's Night, $39.99.
$40.
REO Speedwagon 9 Lives, $19.99. Van Morrison Into the Music, $29.99 for Van Morrison Into the Music, $29.99 Into the Music. Gene Pitney, Young and Warm and Wonderful, that's $9.99. Willie Nelson Stardust is $14.99. Willie Nelson Stardust, $14.99. Spooky Tooth, You Broke My Heart, So I Busted Your Jaw, $24.99. Looks like it has an insert that's been taped on the back. I don't think that was made like that. It's not. $24.99. John.
Working on it.
Man, we had an offer earlier for $55. I wonder if Paul Brothers is watching. Paul had made an offer on this for $55. Now, if he's watching right now, I don't know. But he did make an offer, and I told him to come back with that later. If he's not watching right now, or maybe if he says he'll pass, then I'll sell it to you for $55. Marty, I'll do $15 on REO Speedwagon if you want it. And then John Porter,
I have to say though,
it's Willie Nelson.
all of these
Terry
records
Westwood, Gene Pitney is $8.
like they're in pretty
Sting,
good
The
condition.
Dream of the Blue Turtles,
They're all near mint.
$24.99 on Sting. Paul Simon Self-Titled is
Sorry, doesn't even
$19.99.
talk about
We
condition
have Ray
anymore.
Stevens, The Feeling's Not Right Again. Ray Stevens
There's
is
Barry
$9.99. Firefall Self-Titled is $9.99 on Firefall Self-Titled. Steve Miller Band, The Joker, very nice copy. Gatefold, $19.99. Terry Westwood says sold, 8 on Gene Pitney. That's sold to Terry Westwood. We have Alan Parsons Project I, Robot, $19.99.
That's a
Traffic
$2
When the
record.
Eagle Flies, VG Plus, $14.99. I think we're officially getting into some check condition stuff now. John Porter first on Steve Miller Band. We have Link Ray, a VG copy, $39.99. It's a die cut cover too. See how this opens up?
Oh, that's
Link
nice.
Ray.
Some show and tell going on.
Copy,
All right.
$39.99. We have, let's put it back in here, specs on Dylan.
No, this nigga's bidding
Dylan
against himself.
Is a 74 Hollywood press, $64.99.
I don't think you can go backwards, Nick. I think you're
That's
at
not the
389
original
on
inner
this one.
sleeve. It's very nice vinyl. It's OG. Now, earlier, Paul Brothers offered $55.
Bill know
when I go back
Nick
to
know
everything,
we're
it's still
forwarding
available.
his bids to
No one claims that it's sticker.
to Coleco.
Make that offer again. I don't think he's on. John Leal's offered 55, so technically he has dibs on it right now. And we'll go back through that again. Actually, he said specs on Dylan, not Bowie. I completely misread that. So Bowie is most likely so to John. I'll give that a few more seconds, though.
Jason,
And
does this remind you of someone else's auction?
Other side of Bob Dylan. And
they don't know who's
this is
bidding.
65 stereo. Super clean vinyl, about EX plus. Just a really nice, clean copy.
Not that the record
Another
has two
side of Bob
sides
Dylan,
to it.
65 stereo, $99.99. It has a little bit of a ding up there on the cover.
Details, schmeetails, David. Details.
$99.99. Creedence Clearwater, Willie and the Poor Boys, VG plus $24.99. Booker T and the MGs is VG plus $34.99.
Whoa.
Boz Skaggs, VG plus $14.99. Boz Skaggs and Band.
He didn't want to
Sell
take it
Dan
out.
Benedict, not the CCR. Sell that for $17. John Porter, you were second to claim it. Twain Shall Meet, Eric Bird and the Animals, VG plus $14.99. Patti Smith Group Wave is EX $32.99. Deep Purple, Who Do They
That's a
Think We
great
Are?
album.
VG plus
I love that
$14.99.
album.
Whitney Houston Whitney is a VG $24.99. I want to dance with somebody. John Entwistle, Rigor Mortis sets in,
There you go,
VG
Nick.
plus
There's your
$14.99.
Whitney.
The Who Are You? EX $17.99. John Porter, first to Deep Purple. That's so to John Porter.
Accurate.
Go ahead and tag John Leal for the David Bowie for $55.
Oh, he
That's so to
he
John Leal
buckled.
for
He didn't get his
$55.
64.
Traffic, Low Spark of High Heeled Boys, VG plus $14.99. The Monkeys is a VG, $9.99.
Okay.
That's the Monkeys. It's a VG copy, $9.99 in mono. REO Speedwagon Live, VG, $14.99 for REO Speedwagon Live. Men at Work, business as usual. EX copy, $22.99. EX
What?
copy, $22.99 with this original inner sleeve with lyrics.
Come on.
Doobie Brothers Captain and Me, VG plus $9.99.
Get that one, Nick. You
The
need
Mamas
that
and
one.
Papas Deliver is a VG plus $14.99. Police, Ghost in the Machine. We've had several of these lately. This one's VG plus $17.99 for the Police, Ghost in the Machine. Derek and the Dominoes Layla, VG copy $14.99 for Layla. And John Prine, Bruised Orange, EX copy $32.99. John Prine, Bruised Orange, EX copy $32.99. Yes, 90125.
Hello.
Hang on, Jose. Let me get off of this.
Hey,
He lives.
hey.
Jose,
Hello.
where are you? Are you just walking the streets of Monterey? What's going on here?
Yeah. So there was no lights since like yesterday from around like 9 p.m. till
Wow.
about a couple of minutes ago. So it was horrible. It's like 120 right now over here.
Good grief. So you're cooling down. You're going for a walk to cool down, huh?
I'm gonna go get tacos. So yeah.
And beer.
No, and just a Coca-Cola. But
Coca-Cola.
I'll bring everyone around. What the fuck is that dog? So,
Listen, Music
He's
Talk
hot,
with
man.
John has the copyright on walking and talking, so you're gonna have to pay John a royalty on walking around and talking.
No, he can license it south of the border. See,
But fair enough,
Yeah.
this is the international version. You're right. You're right.
yeah, this is international versions. Yeah.
Fair. Well, Jose, I mean, how are you spending your time with no electricity?
Well, it's not the electricity part. It's the AC part right now. 'Cause, you know.
Well, how do you charge your phone?
So I didn't have any battery till like 11. I went to my university, where the university that I studied at 5 years ago. I went there and I put my laptop on my phone and charge it, but there's light again. See this light.
we could have the first live stream with a mugging. It's really cool.
Well, I was gonna say Joe Marino's got a good point. He's got a show recommendation. Hang on.
All right. I can't. But Chance, you're safe because I can't show any records right now. So you're safe.
Listen, Jose. I like it when you show records, but this is definitely outside your comfort zone. Like your wheelhouse is usually not being mauled by dogs or the taco run. Or
in this street. I'll show you. There's a house of a dog that I fucking hate. I'll show you. I hate the fucking dog because it only spins. You'll see it like spinning around.
Jose, you have 2 dogs. How can you hate a dog?
Because you'll see it's a dog. It only makes like horrible noises and it starts spinning around.
Because the dog hates him. That's why.
I'm approaching that. Wait.
We could.
I don't want to be filming all the people's houses. But.
Hang on, we're gonna make you big because this is a big reveal of the dog that you.
Perri, you're gonna go around in circles. Will it fly?
You saw it?
Oh yeah.
Don't get bit, Jose. We don't have insurance. We don't have liability waivers. We don't have any of that on this program.
Fuck that dog. I hate that dog.
Jose, we have a request. Joe Marino says you should cover yourself in peanut butter and let's make this interesting.
Yeah, I guess. Every house on this street, I don't know why I came through this street, but every single house in this street has a dog. So when I take out my dogs, it's horrible.
Mayhem.
Yeah.
Novice Nick wants to know, is that dog called Spin Clean? Jose, comment.
Yes.
So that dog is constantly spinning 24/7.
Yeah, every single time that I pass through that, the dog knows that it's me and it hates me.
Throw some distilled water on him,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Turgiclean apparently.
Yeah, so some iPhone flu, whatever it's called, Ilfo flow.
But I wanted to import some Turgiclean here because I couldn't find it here. And when I tried to import it, people were like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's for cleaning records." And people were like confused, like, "What? What is this shit?"
They actually questioned you?
Yeah, because they were like, "Oh, yes, this is," because it's like chemicals and stuff, right? So they label it as such. So crossing the border with chemicals, it's not as smart of an idea. If
you gotta have the cartel do that for you.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to cross the border with
the ideal thing is go to Texas.
But God forbid you want to bring some Turgiclean.
Drawing the line. Yeah. No Turgiclean. Cocaine, smack, no problem.
Yeah. So what was that video you were showing? What is it?
Jose, oh yeah. So we have this new part of the program that we wrap up the stream with Chad and Colectco. It's a public service that we're doing for the community and how not to overpay for some common records. So,
all right.
Highly encourage you not to buy, but definitely to watch because the entertainment factor is well worth it.
If Ted Nugent's on the credits, it's worth shit. That's
it's probably $24.99.
Yeah, it's probably extra. Near mint, $24.99,
and a 1-year NRA membership. They throw that in too.
Man, crossing the street and being on YouTube at the same time, it's not as might get you some views if I get hit. So
that's what we're aiming
for. Well,
Jose,
we don't want that because we want to see you in Austin in the fall. So
yeah.
I know. I'm looking forward to it because I'm not gonna have any summer this summer.
Well, good. Did you take a honeymoon? Remind me.
No, we're doing that on December because my wife's sister is having a baby, so we put that on pause just for that. Oh, actually, I don't know if she's serious about it or not, but my wife said that it was okay if we went like Japan or something like that and get some records. So
wow.
I'm open.
So here's
a trick in there somewhere.
I was in Connecticut last week, and I stopped at a record store in New Haven.
Oh, all right.
That's where Yale is.
Yeah, I've been there.
And it was one of the better rated record stores because I was on limited time. So I'm like, I'll just pick one. And when I'm in there, first of all, his new arrival section is basically the entire store. There's a very small section that is alphabetized.
Oh, no.
Because he said it was spilling over everywhere. Anyway, talking with him, I was asking him, hey, do you, I forgot what artist I think I was asking for craft work, if he had any craft work to work with. Like, no, I don't. Actually, I had one last week, but the store's a bit of it in a disarray because yesterday there were some guys from Japan that bought almost like a quarter of the store. And this is in like New Haven, Connecticut. I go to my store out in Long Island, New York, in Amityville, and he tells me the same thing. Yeah, the Japanese are buying up a lot of stuff, and mostly they're looking for soul, R&B, kind of like funk stuff.
Nadine, look what you've done. You've activated the Japanese buyers.
And I'm hearing this from like, it's not just like New York City, right? Where people come to New York, you know, for other reasons, and they're buying up. They're going into smaller towns that have other record stores.
That's really
I
interesting.
don't know what they're doing. They're just buying up.
They buy a lot. I buy a lot from a Japanese website, and they buy a lot of U.S. and Canadian pressings.
Well, it looks like they are,
but they just get like VG plus near mint or mint records, and they like clean it pretty much like really good, and then
they flip it.
Yeah, they flip it, but it's not. They don't get a lot from that, because I've gotten good records off of that. Well, and they do that for the UK as well, so it's pretty.
They've sucked the UK dry.
You don't think they're bringing it? Well, the guy said that they usually, when they buy,
I mean, they probably buy
loads
it for,
of,
like,
of
scraps.
records. They just wait for a pallet and then they ship it all at once to Japan. So I'm thinking they're for consumption in Japan. Maybe the word's out that Japanese pressings are not as good as original American pressings of certain records. I don't know. Maybe they realize that there's, you know, David, probably you could, could talk to the fact that maybe the preference, like the Japanese ear in the past, was towards one kind of sound, and now maybe they're discovering that the originals were they like it better. I don't know. I can't talk because I don't have that many.
Well, their focus always was on quiet vinyl and really quality pressings. But the mastering was always biased away from good bottom end.
And one thing is also, I noticed that usually they put not only to the vinyl, they put a lot of care to all the
packaging,
the artwork, and the materials.
Extra books,
the materials also that they use. The reproduction of the photography is always excellent.
But now the chickens have come home to roost on the actual vinyl product and sound.
Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe there is a stronger demand because they realize that vintage, just call them 60s and 70s pressings, are from Japan are not as good as the originals from the US and Canada.
Yeah, when I was in UK earlier this year, they said, if you really want to find all the UK pressings, you need to go to Japan because they wiped us out.
Jose, I just muted you in case you're placing your order
to have a Coke for that.
Yeah. John, we told Jose that this is your gimmick and to stay off it. But since he's in Mexico, we thought there were international variants that he could maybe get away with this. But you take it up with him. Yeah. We told him that this is your corner, John, and that you are the only one in the vinyl community who walks at night alone.
I have contacts at Interpol if you think this is a violation.
Oh, that's funny. Well, how about we wrap it up here, guys, so we don't run out too late. But a good conversation again. Thanks for joining me for the listening party, and then always, I mean, we gotta have a shout out to Click. Everybody watching at home, thanks for joining. We're gonna take the stream. See you next time, guys.
Take it out. See you. Bye.
Good night, guys. Bye.
Good night.